Well, ahead of the EFF's national demonstration tomorrow, provincial law enforcers are briefing on their state of readiness. In the Western Cape, Premier Alan Winde and Provincial Police Commissioner Thembisile Patekile are expected to map out their contingency measures. The DA-led administration went to court last week to interdict the EFF from, among other things, shutting down schools and businesses and inciting violence during their march. Our reporter Natalie Malgas is outside the SAPS headquarters this morning. Natalie, we know that this briefing, of course, comes ahead of this planned shutdown, but it also comes, after that court interdict was awarded to the DA, prohibiting EFF supporters and participants of the march from inciting violence. What can we expect to hear from the provincial joint operational and intelligence structure today?
Well, Ntokozo, we are fully expecting to hear from the Premier and the Provincial Police Commissioner just where exactly they will be putting this additional manpower. What we should bear in mind, it is also a long weekend, and traditionally with long weekends there are more people in the Western Cape. So much of what we've been seeing across the city and the broader province over the last few days isn't all that strange. There have been additional police visibility in parts of the CBD that we have seen this morning and over the last few days. There have been additional traffic officers deployed to some of the transport hotspots and all those busy nodes across the Western Cape in anticipation of more people coming down here visiting the coast for the Human Rights Day long weekend. So this coincides, of course, with the march that's expected to happen tomorrow, led by the EFF and some of their affiliates. Much of the contingency plans that the Western Cape government and the provincial SAPS here in the Western Cape will detail for us will include some of the measures that they've already rolled out, because there are just more people in the Western Cape at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that this is, of course, a long weekend that we've headed into. What's the atmosphere on the ground like? Is there a sense of panic? Is there a sense of confusion? Or are generally, residents of the Western Cape going about their own way and living their lives?
From some of the residents and business owners, particularly, that we've spoken to over the last few days in Ntokozo, many have said it's just going to be business as usual. They fully intend to open up their shops, especially those in the CBD. They know there are added visitors to the city, more feet through the door and bums on seats in some of the restaurants. So they fully intend to run business as usual. They don't seem to be all that intimidated or threatened at the idea of a mass protest potentially seeping into the city and across the Western Cape. Many of the residents also that we've spoken to say they don't feel all that intimidated and don't think that they were incited to participate in this march or encouraged to be violent. Of course, this is also important to note. One of the features of the DA's application to the Western Cape High Court this past week was that they had received some complaints from their constituencies, from business owners in the Western Cape and in the city of Cape Town particularly, who said they had felt intimidated and threatened in the wake of this mass protest. But much of the anecdotal accounts that we've collected over the last few hours have been rather laissez-faire, Ntokozo.
Right, well, Natalie, I suppose we'll await to hear from the provincial government in the Western Cape and the SAPS structures there, how they plan particularly to look out for those key points. Well, that was a wrap of the headline.